Yay!
We have a good little Brady Bunch vibe going on today.
I know. So good. I'm like, yeah, it looks awesome. Good job. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for anyone who's tuning in. And we always like to start off by asking, can you hear us? And this is especially relevant today because we have a little issues, which is why we're a little bit late. But if you can hear us, please just give us a thumbs up that you can hear us, or say, yeah, or give an exclamation point, or whatever you need to do so that we know that we're communicating to you and we're all good. Cool. So we are super excited to be bringing on Claire and Gaby, who are, let's see, Gaby is this way.
Oh,
Claire.
The other, yeah, it's like, Gaby is that way.
I'm like, where is she next to me?
Yeah, I think I'm to the left of you.
Left. I don't know if I'm
Claire is
right.
I'm like down.
Perfect. Awesome. We're so excited to have you guys on. And these are two of the four clarinetists who are a part of the rockin' ensemble Four-Play Clarinet, which is a great name. So we're super stoked to have you guys on. So before we introduce to you, Claire, without an E, do you want to give a little spiel about who we are and all this good stuff?
Sure, yeah. So if you're tuning in for the first time, Allie and I are the ladies behind the Marketed Musician. And here at the Marketing Musician, we really believe in community over competition, which is why we love bringing on awesome guests like this to just chat about how marketing is working for you and how you're being innovative, and just provide some really inspiring examples for all of the classically trained musicians out there, just about what's possible when it comes to your career. So that's just us in a nutshell. But if it is your first time, Allie and I have a lot of resources available to help you DIY your marketing. And one of those that goes along with season 2 of the podcast is our workbook called the Fearlessly Visible Workbook. And it goes along with the theme of each week and gives you a lot of actionable items to help you fearlessly market yourself.
All right, so we're going to introduce Gaby Castro, who is to the left of me, and I still don't know what that means mirror-wise. And Claire Grelier, I'm not pronouncing that totally correctly, but can you say it, Claire? Can you?
Claire Grelier.
Oh, God.
Grelier. Yeah, well, that's hard.
Grelier. Oh, my Lord. Okay.
It's okay, you don't have. Claire is fine.
Perfect. All right. So these are two of the four ladies behind Four-Play Clarinet. We're really excited, especially because they are both alumnus of Cal State Fullerton, which was also my alma mater. So we have a connection there.
Yes,
so
go
Claire,
Titans.
Yes, go Titans. So Claire is originally from Nice, France, and she received her DEM in musical performance. She's performed with many ensembles in France, including the Nice Wind Ensemble and Military Band, and with the Nice Opera, which is awesome, until she moved to California in 2010. Is that right?
Yes, 2010, yeah.
2010. And she went to pursue her bachelor's and master's degrees at Cal State Fullerton. And Gaby is from Santa Clarita, California, and she also received her bachelor's and master's at Cal State Fullerton. She's performed with the Symphonic Winds, the Wind Symphony, the Symphony Orchestra, and she served as principal clarinet for 2 years. And I also know Gaby because we did a recital together, I think 7 years ago, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, oh wow, it's 7 years. Oh crap, that's a long time ago.
So long ago. I'm pretty sure it was 2010. So Four-Play Clarinet, if you haven't heard about them, they are so awesome. They are known for infusing this fresh and hip spirit with multicultural and international roots into classical clarinet ensemble. It's so rad. And they have this really awesome knack for infusing their passion for pop and electronic music. And they kind of put this new twist on clarinet music that you would never really think when you think the clarinet, with their awesome arrangements and their really modern style. So they have, I think you guys are almost up to 10,000 followers on YouTube. Congrats.
Yes, we're getting close.
Yeah,
awesome.
So awesome. And we're one of them. And they really push the instrument in a new direction that explores all of its unconventional possibilities. So welcome, Gaby and Claire. We're so excited to have you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. All right, well, let's dig in.
Cool.
All right.
All right, so we're going to dive right on into tonight's topic of ensemble. So that's what we talked about on Monday's podcast. So we are super excited to bring you guys on for a lot of reasons. But let's start at the beginning, because I'm sure, a lot of our viewers would like to know just about how you guys got started. So Gaby, Claire, could you tell us about Foreplay Clarinet and how it all started? How did you guys meet and collaborate as your own ensemble? And what was your intention in the beginning stages of getting started?
Well, we actually started as a quartet. At Cal State Fullerton, we have like a chamber music requirement. And Claire, myself, Rainey, who's one of the other girls in the quartet, and another guy who used to be in the quartet, his name is Wayne. We were all friends, and we were paired as a quartet in chamber music together. And, at the time, we were only playing like the original works for classical clarinet quartet, which there's a lot of French music. And we played like a recital. And at one point, we were trying to think of a name for our group. And I was like, what if we were like Foreplay and blah, blah, blah? And everyone thought it was fun. And so that's how we first started the quartet, like within like a chamber music thing. But then later on, it was like around 2015, I thought, why don't we do this for real? And, we were all such good friends. We had good group chemistry. And that's something I think is really important when you're like trying to make an ensemble. And so I was like, well, why don't we just do this for real? Like make our own thing. And so we started brainstorming ideas what we could do, and it's like we came up with the idea of doing covers. And so that's how we came up with our first video of the cover of Lean On by Major Lazer. We all thought it was a great song. We really liked that song a lot. We liked the group. We got one of our composer friends to arrange the piece for us, and then one day we're just like, wow, we should shoot a music video. That'd be so cool. We were like out in the desert and whatever, la la la. And so we shot the video, we uploaded it, and then we just started getting a lot of attention, I guess, from the video. And everyone was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I play clarinet too. We got a lot of people coming up to us. And so that was kind of how we first started to like kind of make our way into the modern music ensemble world.
That's awesome.
So
I
cool.
love it. So cool. So it all started from a chamber ensemble at school. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Rainey is commenting saying that Gaby is a pervert. So I just wanted to.
Of course.
Oh, of course.
I actually want to point out really quick about your name, because your name is so great and it's so funny and I love it, because it's like, yeah, Foreplay Clarinet, obviously. But we were sending out our email to, kind of like promote you guys coming on, and it took like a half an hour for our email software to actually, work, because basically there's like inappropriate language.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah.
But it was so fun. I was like, this has got to work. It's going to be
Yeah. No, actually, it was funny. One time we had gotten a comment on one of our videos saying, oh, I would love to show this to my junior high school students, but your name is not appropriate, unfortunately. It's like, you can't win with everyone, I guess, on that.
No, you
front,
can't.
No.
But I mean, it's not too bad. Now we say 4 play clarinet, 4 people play clarinet. So it's not
Yeah.
that bad, like kids don't
And
have
we're a quartet, so it's like, oh, yeah, it's like 4 people. And like, yeah.
Yeah, and it's spelled the right way. It's like,
it's played the right way. It's just, I mean, I guess it's fun for people like older, and the younger, they don't have to understand. We just, when we do something that is more like educational or whatever, it's 4 people play clarinet, 4 play clarinet. So
gotcha.
it works better that way.
Gotcha. Well, I love it either way. I think it's clever. I think it matches who you guys are really well. So I dig it. Awesome. So let's move on to the next question we have. And Claire, I would love for you to answer this one if you feel comfortable. So I want to kind of talk about the nuts and bolts behind starting an ensemble. So we talked a lot on the podcast about joining an ensemble, the benefits, and then starting your own thing, which we're all about, doing your own thing and starting something new. But, it's certainly not easy. And I'm sure that you guys have had a lot of, challenges and obstacles that have come up as far as, the back end work of making it happen. So I wanted to ask, during your beginning stages of Foreplay Clarinet, what were some of the considerations that you guys had to encounter, primarily with, the functionality of the ensemble, how did you guys schedule? How did you guys collaborate? And how did you guys pick out the music and all of that kind of back end stuff?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess it was complicated at the beginning. We kind of tried it. The only good thing, I guess, is we were all at school together.
Yeah.
So to like rehearse was really easy. We had access to a lot of things. So we had access to practice rooms. We had kind of the same schedule. That was an easy kind of time but at the same time, we had no experience because we were like classically trained in a very difficult clarinet studio and only classical music was pretty much allowed.
Yeah.
So we both, I mean, we all love that, but I guess Gaby and I were really into like dance music and going out and on the weekends only.
Yeah.
But like doing all those things. And then so I thought like, yeah, like we should do something fun, you know, like clarinets. It started with that. Like every time, like I've been playing clarinet for pretty much my whole life. And most people that know me, they know clarinet, even if they've never studied music. But like a lot of people, when I say, I play clarinet, they think, oh, you play the flute. And I was like, no, I don't play the flute. And most people don't know what it is. And I just felt like I want to do something that even my friends who are not musicians might like and understand, like, you know, clarinet and stuff. And so it was nice to just put that thing together because even when we went out with Gaby and we say, oh, yeah, we are master students in clarinet performance, people look at us like, what is that? Like, I didn't know it existed almost and stuff. So that was good to put the clarinet more accessible. That was the thing, more accessible. So that was the goal. But then after for like, rehearsing and stuff, it came like a little bit at a time, like putting things together. And then the hardest, I think, was for us, for example, recording, because we never recorded. We didn't know how to record appropriately for like instruments. We found that after a few recordings. And I guess if you look at our videos, the last recording, there's a video coming up soon that will be actually really exciting. Months probably. And the recording quality is getting better. And it's not, I mean, yes, we're getting better, but it's just because we've learned things about recordings. We like learn everything about like our own group, even marketing, social media, everything. It's like little by little getting to know things and knowing how it works. So it takes a long time. You have to be patient. And that was the hardest because I want everything quick. Not like everything quick, but I wanted to do that. Like we have so many ideas, like, and we want to do it, but then it's not only a money problem. It's usually like how to make it happen, and that's patience. But pretty much it's been good. Like it's been fun. And I feel like there's a lot of young people like looking up to us, which is amazing from everywhere. Awesome. So that's been great. Like, I think it's really good.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it's good to have that patience factor because when you find that spark as an ensemble, you're like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, let's do everything. And it's good. Like, nope, it's a learning process.
It takes a long time and you have to be patient because we had the idea and we were the first group pretty much to do that. And I was like, oh, we should do that. And you want to do a video every month. You want to do everything. It's not possible. And so you have to be patient and patience is everything. And then you learn things along the way.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Better to do a few things really well over time. And that's what y'all have done. Like each of your videos are so well produced and they're so amazing. Like, and you were talking about making clarinet accessible. I just have to tell you, I was talking to one of my friends who's not a musician at all, not even in the arts. And I was telling her that we were interviewing you guys tonight, and she was like, "Oh, that sounds so cool!" And so she like pulled you guys up on the computer, and I think watched all of your videos back to back, and just fell in love with it. So it's working.
That's like. That's like been like a huge vision of mine, kind of like just going back to like making the instrument more accessible and just like making people aware of like what like classical instruments and like we don't just because we're classical instruments doesn't mean we can't do the same things like pop artists or like people who are famous can do. It's like I feel like we're kind of bringing that to light and like I feel like I'm kind of connecting more with my generation of people, at least the ones that are not really like, you know, none of them are musicians. They may not, people who are not even in the arts at all, like Claire's friend that introduced us. It's like that's the whole kind of impact we're trying to make. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
that
that's
your
great.
friends
And
are cool.
And I also think because we have like studied classical music for so long, we are able to do what we want to do with clarinets. And I feel like it's a good thing because a lot of kids are like, oh, thank you. Like I just made horn band or I made all those things. And I feel it's good because you need a strong classical base in clarinet to be able to be free and do whatever you want. So I think that's good that we showing that, we did like pretty much all of us have a master now in clarinet performance. And so we like work hard for that, but then after it gives you possibilities to be a classical musician, and we love classical music, that's obviously, but also do other things. So like not just think, oh, I'm going to do 2 years of clarinet and I can do anything. It's not possible, unfortunately. Clarinet is a hard instrument. It's a lot of practice, but it's rewarding. It's a beautiful instrument. We love it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Well, and you can hear it when we listen to the videos. It's not your arrangements, and we're going to talk about your music videos in a little bit, but you can hear that it is so well produced as far as the sound quality, and obviously the arrangements are pretty damn intricate. Like, musicians who listen are like, yeah, that's legit. It's not just this kind of...
It's not just the melody. It's
So you have to be trained in order to do the kinds of things.
I think being trained classically is like important.
Oh my gosh.
Being able to do things like, classical music is a base, and then you can do anything. And and then we are also like, because we make clarinet more accessible, I guess a lot of people don't really love classical music or don't understand it, because I think it's really kind of like a privilege, almost like you have to be classically trained to really understand the beauty of classical music. So I feel like it kind of makes people like start looking at clarinet in another way, and maybe other instrument, and maybe make, I don't know, classical music a little more accessible in general. Also, like both ways actually can work, I think.
Yes.
So essentially like the gateway drug to classical music.
Yes. Exactly. I love it. I couldn't agree more. Awesome. Where are we at, Claire?
Talk about branding?
Sure. Oh wait, no, we got one right before that.
Oh, we do? I'm just getting so into the conversation.
I know. See, now I'm like, I don't even know. What are we doing? Oh, actually, Claire, can you bring up the community? Because I think this is perfect segue.
It is. Yeah. So one of the things, if you've been hanging around our Facebook page for a while, one of the things we've been talking about a lot lately is community. And, on the podcast, and also with Sarah, who also started an ensemble here in Houston, where I live. And participating in an ensemble really creates that aspect of community within, your own group, and also helps you build a community in your community, for lack of a better term.
Yes.
So can you talk about, just the types of venues and events that y'all have played at, and how this has helped you build a following in a community where you live?
Well, the easiest thing, or the easiest way, I guess you could say, we kind of started out was just within the university. It's like, okay, we started the ensemble at school. People kind of knew who we were, or at least in the clarinet section. So, I think the easiest way for us was to start making our music accessible to our peers, because they're the ones that kind of understand our vision the most, I guess. So we started performing at the university at like open recitals when we could. And then when Shawnee, the other girl in our group, joined, we started performing more at UCLA. She gave us opportunities to perform like at some little recitals. We performed at her own recital. And then we got to perform for the chancellor of UCLA recently. That was really cool. And so we kind of started out that way. And also we were playing a few times in front of the lights of LACMA in Hollywood. And I think, and just to touch on another point with like the whole venue thing, is just because, right away, as we're trying to figure out how to market ourselves, it's like we want to kind of create opportunities for ourselves. And so the part of the reason why we started performing at the LACMA lights was we see a lot of people over there, like tourists, like taking pictures over there. So it's like, why don't we just set up the shop and just start playing, and people are going to notice us. And we started doing that when we came out with Lean On, and Lean On was still a pretty popular song. So I remember the first time we performed in front of there, we had like people taking videos of us. I remember when we left, I was like, hey, I just saw our video somewhere on Instagram, like some random person that had filmed us. And I looked up like the LACMA thing and I was like, that's cool. But I mean, that worked for us at least when we were starting. So
it was a good proof of concept to kind of show that you can play in other types of venues.
Yeah. How has that evolved since then? When, like, do you guys do a mix of things when you perform? Do you do classical and kind of that contemporary, or how does that work for you guys?
Yeah, we kind of do both. We do a mix. We also have a classical repertoire. One of the things we've been working on recently, I don't know if you've heard of this website. It's called Group Muse.
Yes.
It's basically, for those of you who are listening, have never heard of it. It's basically like Uber for chamber musicians. You kind of sign yourself up, you put like recordings on there, and then hosts can like say, oh, I want blah 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 or so and so to play at my house, and then you go into their house and then you can play a concert for them. So we've been kind of to help with that, because you need to have a program that's at least half classical music. And so we've been working, but I mean, that was just a good opportunity for us to start building some more classical repertoire. And so then when we played concerts, we kind of did like half foreplay music and then half classical repertoire.
That's awesome.
So did you do one style before intermission and another style after, or was it all intermingled throughout? How did you make that work?
We usually mix it. Like at least for the chancellor, like it was maybe 10 days ago, we mixed it. Just to show that we can do a little bit of everything, I think. And also because right now performing outside is kind of difficult for clarinets in general. First, the instrument is not really, it doesn't really like the weather here. It's too hot and too dry, so it's not really good for the instrument, but also like the sound doesn't really project. So we have just pretty much made a video for Kickstarter. So we'll like try to find a way to get equipment to be like, like to have like, I don't know, microphones, and like we have a whole setup that we need actually to perform the concert that we would want to perform as a four-play clarinet. So that's like a whole setup. So when we will get that, we will be able to really fully play the way we want to play.
Yeah.
That's why we like mixing, because people still like to hear what we're doing, but we don't have the right equipment to just make it sound the way we want. So kind of being patient as well, again, just get that equipment, and then after we can really perform. But I think it's good to do both as a group, but four-play clarinet is an electro-based like group. Yeah. And so we want to do a show that will be only that. But of course, still do other things. And I guess even if you follow our Instagram, which is four-play clarinet, you'll like see that we like record a lot of classical music that is usually popular, just because first most people will understand it or know it and then feel like, oh, that's cool. But also to show that you can do both and you don't have to only be one way. And so it's kind of nice for that, I think. But the group itself, hopefully in a year or so, we'll be able to like produce a full concert. So we've been pretty much patient and waiting until like performing, and we don't want to perform halfway. We want the best, kind of.
Yeah.
We've
been
patient. We've been patient, but it will come soon. And so far, we're doing videos, and I mean, we're doing great. So, and it's fun.
And what's so cool is that just hearing both of y'all speak. Sorry, I just realized I say y'all. I live in Texas.
I love it.
Okay. You have such a clear vision for where you want to go, and that is, we work with a lot of musicians, and that's the first thing that's so key, is just understanding what you want to accomplish, why you want to do it, and then all the tactical stuff falls in place. And that's exactly what y'all have, that North Star vision that you're moving towards.
You need to have the vision first. I think the vision the first day we started is pretty much the same. It's just the process, going through the process. It's hard because we don't have a manager, we don't have people to help us. We've really been doing that on our own. Even when we're at Castel Fulton, we didn't really have a support. We had kind of access to a few things, but we didn't have a support. We would just we just did it on our own, but then we're learning everything. And it's making us grow and see other possibilities, because the possibilities like right now to be a clarinet, classical clarinet performer is difficult. I mean, there's not much to do. There's orchestras, but it's really hard to get in. There's chamber music group have a hard time, even classical one, to make it. And then being a teacher, which we all are teaching already, but like when you want to perform, when you have done so much performance, you know, like you want to perform. And so that was a great thing. And I think it really fit like the group and who we were, because we like regular stuff. Like we like every kind of music. And we like, if you see us on a Friday night out, we are normal people. We don't practice 5 hours of clarinet every day. You won't see that. So I think it's cool that people like can get that, and we get to do a little, which is nice, to get a little break sometimes from like clarinet.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, and your intention is very clear. You know, it's exposure, awareness. You know, you're trying to get this
exactly, and education. I think just pushing like
education.
I think that's something that came after, but I feel like the educational side of it like pretty much came after. I think first it was just to make clarinet, like people aware of clarinets, of like possibilities for the instrument, and do something fun for us too, and for the people. But then now I feel like it's more educational almost, because we have a lot of followers and a lot of parents saying thank you, like my kid practicing more, and so it's exciting. I'm teaching some people that like want to study with me because I'm doing that group, and they think it's so cool, and so it's kind of fun. And I feel like we like are coming up with a few projects actually to propose to schools and like on an educational like purposes, and it will be really pretty much effective early like 2018.
Yes.
But, like we will do a lot of things like that, and I think it's almost now became pretty much the main goal, because that's nice. Like it's nice to like promote music in school, and music it's great to do it, and it's great for life. Like you can do music until like the end.
I love it. I love everything you guys are doing. I like want to keep talking forever.
I know.
Now I'm like, education. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm going to shift gears real quick, but I want to like point out the education component. So awesome that you are harnessing your ensemble's intention and integrity and starting to branch out and actually, you know, give back to a community and you're getting students, and you're getting, you know, people who are thanking you. And that's the whole point. Like, that's what we talk about all the time. That's the whole point. And that's so, so awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about actually, and you kind of talked a little bit about this, Claire, but the brand behind your ensemble. So, you know, it's like people who want to start an ensemble, and those of you who are listening who have maybe been thinking like, oh, I want to start something. Where do I start? It can be so overwhelming. And, you know, Claire and I know this from starting a business. Like, there's just so many things that go into making it happen. So you guys have done a phenomenal job establishing a really visually compelling brand, as well as obviously a musically compelling brand. You know, when we go onto your website or we go onto your Instagram or whatever, you've got a very immediate, like, this is who we are. We got bright, bold colors. We're very sassy and we're spunky, and we got this awesome music to back us up. And that wasn't an accident. So I want to ask you guys, how did you actually do that? Like, what were you thinking in terms of your photo shoots and your arrangements, and how did that all come together? Was it something that was just immediate, or how did you guys evolve into where you are now?
Well, we kind of, with the whole, like, at least the appearance wise, we kind of just molded it to a little bit of our personalities. Like, for me, for example, I'm a little more edgy, you know, I have got like a little haircut going on there. And so whenever we do like a photo shoot or thing, I'm going to be dressing a little more edgier. Or our friend Rainey, the other one in the group, one of the other ones in the group, she's a little more feminine. So she'll wear like maybe a really long dress and like do her hair like more fancy than maybe I would, or something like that. Just to like, that's an example of like kind of how we styled ourselves for like the videos. And so we just kind of come out. Claire always wears a hat.
Yes, and now Sam with the hat. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I love it.
Wears a hat. So
No, in the new video, I don't have a hat. That's
it. Yeah. So you guys have kind of like, you harness your own personality, and it's really clear when we look at the picture. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys actually, so you said that you had an arranger. Do you still have an arranger? Is that how he arranges your music currently? Or do you guys do it yourself? Or how does that happen?
No, we actually do the arrangements now ourselves. And we did the first one just because it's like, oh, you know, we're not composers. We don't arrange music. We've never done it before. Why don't we ask someone else to do it? But we wanted to just kind of, again, like Claire said, we wanted to just kind of go and move really fast. You know, people get busy and stuff like that. And at one point we were just kind of like, screw it. Why don't we just, we're musicians. It's not like, it can't be that hard, right? We play the clarinet. We know how the instrument lays better than maybe someone else would. So why don't we just try it ourselves? And it took some time for us to kind of figure out what would work. But Rainey and I are kind of like the two main arrangers for the group. We do all the arranging. Rainey's did How Deep Is Your Love and Sweet Dreams, and I did Dance and the new video that's going to come out in like a month and a half or 2 months.
Cool.
Coming up. So awesome. We've been working on that. And for me personally, as far as like arranging goes, I just kind of I listen to a lot of different kinds of music. So I just kind of my ears just kind of latch onto a song. I was like, oh, how would I do that for clarinet? And actually at first when I started arranging, I went like really crazy. And I was like, every song I listened to, I was like, oh, I wonder how I would arrange that for clarinet. Because I was just like getting really into it. Yeah. But yeah, and like at least the songs, the dance, the song that the music video that's out right now was the one I arranged. And I really like that group, Justice. The song is also really popular. It's like one that you can really just kind of like groove to. And that's kind of really what inspired me to arrange that piece in particular. Yeah. And we've like for all the pieces that have been arranged for us, even the one that was arranged by our friend, it's like all the pieces we like are all think it's really a cool piece, and we think also people would connect to it. Like for example, like Sweet Dreams, it's an 80s tune, and so but you know, they play it in like clubs everywhere, so young people haven't heard it, and then older people will know it because that's what kind of when it came out. So like everyone can kind of have this connection to the song.
Totally.
So putting all those music theory classes to good use.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So one thing, while we're talking about branding, I'd love to know about considering your audience, because that's kind of a big debate sometimes as far as branding. It's like, does it reflect your audience who you're trying to attract, or does it reflect who you are as a musician and as a person? So it's, you know, there's definitely a balance between the two, but I was wondering if you could talk about just how you've thought about your ideal audience and how your brand has reflected that.
Well, initially we didn't know exactly who was going to start to be our audience when we first started. I feel like at this point, whatever our vision is, we kind of make it a combination of both. It still fits our personality, but we definitely take into consideration what people would like to see. And like on our last video, I was like, oh, what would you like to see more of? And for this next video, we kind of took into consideration one of the comments someone left is like, oh, I love your videos, but could you do something that's like slightly more simple? So in this next video, you're going to see how we kind of scaled back, maybe from not necessarily, I don't know if I want to say like scale back so much, because I still think it's going to look visually very cool, but it's not going to be as like, oh, there's these neon lights and like all this extra.
Not acting. There's not going to be acting.
No.
Okay.
More simple. But I also think like, even when we started, even if we didn't really know who about the audience pretty much, I mean, we kind of knew that it would be like a lot of young people playing clarinets and things like that. I think we wanted to represent our personality, which was kind of like, I guess we're kind of like, I don't know, trendy, and we like the things that most people like. So that was important. And also because we're all so different, I think we really have different personalities. Like we are really different people. We get along really well, but we're like extremely different. We wanted to show like that we were different, but could work as a group. And kind of, I always felt like I wanted to represent us as almost characters that you could relate to or not.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, people get into like, like you would like that person, you would like that character, that kind of
you like that Spice Girl.
Pretty much.
Exactly. I think people have some kind of thing, and then just because we're so different, like almost show that even more, and just so people can identify to a character, like kind of in that thing. And so that's what we've wanted to show kind of in videos. And maybe that's why, like, when we style each other really differently. It's not like I wear hat every day, or I dress like more masculine than other people all the time, but I felt like that was more my personality, and Rainy is more like that, Shani more like that, and Gaby like that. And so people could relate. So that was part of the branding, but the audience, like, it came after, like Gaby said. I think it came really after, but it's not because now we have an audience that is mainly from 10 years old to maybe 18 that we're going to change who we are.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to be like ourselves still. So that's good. You keep your identity. Yes, of course, like we know that a lot of young people are watching. So now it's part of the consideration, obviously, of like maybe videos or like song choices and things that we still want to be able to like, I mean, I don't know, like touch everyone and be ourselves, because it's really important to be yourself. We're not going to do that.
I love that, especially because it's an ensemble. So you always assume ensemble. It's like, I don't know about you guys, but choir, everyone wears black. Like, the end. That's it. Like, there's no personality. We're like blended. And I love choir, like so much. I'm a total choir nerd. But yeah, it is really cool that you guys are implementing your own personal choice in there. And it's really obvious visually that people can connect to you individually or as a group. It's
exactly
such a holistic view of your brand. It's not just what people hear, but it's what they see. And
but it's very important to take that in consideration. I think like when you're a group, like, I mean, you might have the best sound, but you need to sell yourself too, and you are a representation of what you're selling. I mean, we're not making any money right now, anything, but we're selling like what we're doing, our group, and representation is everything. Like you have to make good videos, you have to make photo shoots, you have to promote yourself. I mean, it's a lot of little things to do, but it's important. It's just not putting a music on Spotify. Like that's not gonna make. The problem is people, they need to. It's just, I feel like it's too bad because there's so many great musicians that just don't have exposure and will never be discovered. Yeah. And exposure is everything. And now we are like really into social media, I guess. And especially Gaby and I always look at a lot of bloggers and fashion, whatever. Like I love that thing. And we're kind of inspired by what they do, but doing it in a different way because we're musicians and we don't need to pose in like the best clothes, but we need to sell ourselves. And you sell a dream. I mean, you kind of sell a dream in anything that you do. You sell kind of a dream of whatever, being a musician or living in Los Angeles and doing that thing. And so we are the representation is very important. I think it's as important as what the music we do, because it's linked together. Then later on, maybe you can do whatever, but for the beginning, it's important.
So good. There's so many little gems in everything that y'all are saying.
I know.
There's so much intentionality behind every choice that is crafted. The experience that is your brand and your ensemble, it's amazing. So we've talked a lot about your music videos, and I know if anybody has seen them, they probably have tons of questions about how do you do it? So, can you talk about like what does your production process look like? How do you come up with that creative aesthetic behind each of your videos? Can you just talk us through what that looks like?
So I think with Lean On in the beginning, that was like our first video. We were just kind of like, I think Claire had mentioned like, oh, we should do something like the desert because that'd be really cool. Like nothing around us. And we, for that first video, we had a friend who's a videographer and he brought a drone. And so it was himself, some cameras. He brought an assistant, I think, to help with lighting also. And then he had a drone like flying over us, which is how you get to see some of those shots of like the camera like flying and like, and then we just like did some shots in the desert and like we did like individual stuff and like I think the drone all really helped make that video a lot for the visual effects and help kind of show the landscape really well around us, which I think that's one part of the reason why that was such a big success. And then with How Deep Is Your Love, well, with the videos following after that, our process is kind of like, at least so far, we kind of think of like a story that we want to do surrounding the piece. And then afterwards, we kind of like piece the details together. So with How Deep Is Your Love, we rented like a little like Airbnb space in downtown LA. The whole theme was we're going to a gig, we're playing for like a party, like someone hired us, and then we're playing a gig, and then we're just having a good time with the music, because later in the scenes you see us all like getting in with the crowd and like, dancing with them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is that the one where you'll get the text on your phone too? I love that one.
Oh, that's sweet. That one's Sweet Dream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know.
That one was the most actually like acting. We're not actors.
Yeah.
That one was like a real story, and that was interesting. I feel like in each video we learn different process. We work with different people. Actually, that production for like Sweet Dream, we had a lot of people. We're like 10, 12. Like it was.
That was probably our most produced video.
Yeah, 12 hours to shoot it. It was. Wow. Yeah, it was a very complex. I had a kind of idea of like the makeup, and then it was very complicated. But then we don't want to drop it, so it's like we try to make what's possible, and so that was great. I think we've learned a lot on each videos, and I feel like the first video, yes, we got a lot of good comment because like the video was just really good. But I also feel that we were the first group to do that. Like you don't really see that. So people like if you type Clarinet on YouTube, you have performers, like famous performers that play classical music. You have a few jazz stuff at times. And then you see a lot of young people trying to play a little piece, which is really cute. And then you don't really have something in between.
Yeah.
And so that, I think we kind of came into a niche pretty much. Like, I think that was a niche. And I kind of saw it coming. I was like, oh, okay, like, I think there's potential. And I think it's because we had that in us to do something like that. Like to do, like, we like electro music and everything. So that's why it works, because we actually really like it. It's not like like, we're not doing it because it's a niche. It's because we like it. So yeah, it's been good. All the music videos have been like really interesting, I guess. And we do it like with good people, and like a lot of people that also are starting or like are like not really completely established. So it's great. Like it's win-win for both.
Well, we just love everything you guys are doing. Such great gems. I kind of want to like pull them out before we wrap up. I think the biggest thing that we've all learned from, or at least I have, I don't know about everyone else, but I love this idea of getting in front of people, because you're right, that especially in the performing world and especially in the classical world, it's a lot of on stage, it's a lot of recordings. But this concept of let's actually produce, fully produce these music videos. If you haven't checked them out, you got to check them out. We'll make sure to put a link in this video. They are totally produced. And like, it's not just, them sitting in their chairs playing and that's it. It's hey, we're adding an element of vision here, and we're reaching an audience and inspiring young kids to play. And we're inspiring, people who don't know anything about classical music to listen to it. And I think overall, it's just, I love your tactic. I love your strategy. I'm so excited for you guys. And we're so excited for your new video that's coming out real soon.
We're excited too. Like, we just did it last week. So now like it's another waiting game of like waiting for everybody to We have, it's a long process because everybody has, for example, has to agree on the music, but has to agree on the video, do everybody. And it's a long time because everybody has to be happy. Not only us, the person who's producing or making the video, editing everything has to be happy with it too. Yeah, it's a long process, but it's been very rewarding, like so far. Like,
awesome. Well, you guys are an inspiration, and we hope that everyone who's watching is inspired to do their own thing, and it's not just about, having your own little ensemble and playing together. Like, get out and get in front of people and share with,
you want to share music. It's not, you're not going to play.
Exactly.
We play enough. We practice enough in our bedrooms. Like, it's time
to get out. Time to get out in front of people.
Yeah, it's time to get out. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
So we're so so excited for you guys. We're going to wrap it up. If anybody has any question, I'm always forgetting.
Yeah, how are we doing in the comments?
You guys have a lot of emojis going on. We got some hearts. We got a nail polish. We got lips. So
Nice.
we're very supportive of what's going on. But thank you both so much for hopping on and sharing your story with us. It was really inspiring, and we love everything you're doing. We're your big fans. We'll be sure to. Real quick, where can people find you? What's the best place for people to find you?
So we have Instagram, Four-Play Clarinet. We have a website.
FOUR, yeah.
Yeah, the full thing. FOUR, Play Clarinet.
Okay.
It's one clarinet. So Four-Play Clarinet, that's our Instagram. That's also our name, Facebook page. And then we have a website that is fourplayclarinet.com. We are also on Spotify. We have a shop, actually, where you can buy merchandising and stuff. So there's a lot of things. Everything is growing, but yeah, the main people follow us on Instagram. I think that might be the most, and then
Instagram
YouTube, obviously.
Yeah,
our YouTube is our biggest thing. So
Yeah.
Cool.
And then you said
Awesome.
that y'all have a Kickstarter coming out soon, where people can support you to get
that should be coming out within the next few days.
Yeah, it will be soon. It will be in the next week or so, pretty much.
Perfect.
Well, let us know when it's there, because we want to put it as a link in this video.
Yeah, we will for sure.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much, and we're really excited to see it all. And thank you all for tuning in. And this is our last Facebook Live for a little bit.
For June.
For June, taking a hiatus. So we appreciate everyone who's been tuning in every week, and we will see you back in July. All right. Thanks so much, ladies. It was so good chatting with you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
No problem.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.